guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you this look. I have teamed up with Rimmel and I created this look exclusively for Superdrug. If you are in Superdrug in the next couple of weeks, you may see my face on the Rimmel stands. It's a really exciting collaboration. There is this look which I think is perfect for autumn or fall, if you call it fall. So I'm excited to get back into the kind of grungy autumn winter looks. And yeah, there's one other look that I created for Rimmel, which I'm so sure you'll see very, very soon. But if you would like to see how I created this entire look, then please stay tuned. Hello! Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with primer. This is the Rimmel Fix and Perfect primer, and it is the one that I use quite a lot. Pro multi-action, it does everything. It smooths, brightens, resurfaces, mattifies, protects, all the good stuff. I've used this primer a ton. It's probably my favourite drugstore primer, and I'm just going to put that all over my face. I've already done all my skincare, and a little bit goes a long way for this primer, and I do just like rubbing it into my skin everywhere. It's not particularly mattifying. It does hold foundation on all day, but it's not super dry or tacky, so I just put it everywhere. Now I'm going to go straight into foundation. I'm going to use the Lasting Finish foundation in the shade 400 Natural Beige. This is the Comfort Serum foundation. I'm going to take a few pumps of that in the back of my hand, and I think I'm just going to apply this with a brush. Again, I've used this foundation a bunch of times and I really like it. A little bit actually goes a long way with this foundation. I took 3 pumps in the back of my hand, but I don't think I'll actually need all that. It covers up all my redness. And then obviously I go over my lips as well. You don't need to do that. And then I'm just going to bring that down my neck a little bit. I like that colour on me. If you've not tried this foundation, I really seriously recommend going into a Rimmel counter and just giving it a try, because it's such a beautiful texture. It probably is one of my favourite drugstore foundations as well. This primer and this foundation together are really nice. Yeah, look, like I feel like I've done my whole face and I've still got tons in the back of my hand. Only maybe start with like 1 or 2 pumps before you go ham. For concealer, I'm going to use the Wake Me Up Concealer by Rimmel also, obviously. And we're just going to highlight under our eyes and in the kind of usual centre areas. I'm going to use the Insta Fix Go just to dampen a sponge. This is quite a good trick for making your concealer last ages and not crease. So I'm just going to pat that out. And I think this concealer does blend really nicely with the sponge. I prefer using a sponge with it. Just going right under the eye. It blends into the foundation really nicely. Obviously all these products work really well together because they are all from the same brand, so they're all kind of made to work together. I'm actually going to put some concealer on my lid as a primer. This is like one of my new things that I do, and it seems to be working really well. I think it's just one less product to have in your makeup bag as well. Now it just totally brightens up the eye and gets it ready for some eye products. I'm just going to push a little bit more foundation with my sponge into the centre of my face for a little bit extra coverage. I just like the finish that this foundation gives my skin. And it's nice because it's not too dewy, but it's definitely not too matte either. It must be the Comfort Serum that's in the foundation that makes it feel like that. We got a base. Next I'm going to take the Insta Fix and Matte powder. This is just a really nice translucent powder. I've used it a bunch of times, and I'm just going to take a brush and I'm going to sweep that just over my eyelids, just so the concealer is nice and matte, and then I'm just going to go under my eyes for the moment. And this is a fab powder. It is totally translucent and it's dead lightweight as well. Even though it's pressed, it's really finely milled. So I'm just going to powder that much for the moment because we've got some cream contouring to do. For brows, I'm going to be using the Brow This Way Brow Shake Filling Powder. And this is just a really fine powder that's super easy to do your eyebrows. Really, really easy. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through my brows. You'll see it just adds a nice amount of depth to the brow. It's not too dark at all. The look we're doing is pretty dramatic on the lips, so I'm not too bothered about having super defined dark eyebrows. I think the whole look itself is pretty strong. So I just want to make sure that they're a little bit darker just to match my hair. The colour I'm using is medium brown, and the powder just coats the hairs a little bit, but it also gets right behind the hairs. So we do this first. I like to make it a little bit darker just here. I like this colour because it's not too warm. I don't like a warm brown through my brows. And then what you can do as well is you can kind of build up your arch a little bit. So I'm going to do that. But it makes such a subtle, nice difference. And it's really, really quick. Now we've done that, I'm going to use the clear brow gel from Rimmel, the Brow This Way brow gel. And this sets the brows in place, but it also kind of diffuses the powder. But I love how this gel's like super thick, so you can get your brows standing nice and straight up at the front, and it just totally locks in the shape all day. So even though they look defined, they're still actually pretty natural. Now we've sorted out our brows, I'm going to go in with the Insta Dual Contour Stick in the shade Medium. And we're going to highlight and contour. You get tons of product in this. But I'm going to just start to contour. So I'm just going to do my usual cheek contour as well. This colour is great. It's not too warm, but at the same time it's not too ashy, because if it's too ashy it'll just end up looking muddy and grey on me. I'm just going to go all the usual spots, cheekbones, forehead, and I'm going to go round my chin. I'm going to leave my nose out for the moment, and if you've seen my channel before you'll know that I like to blend this in first. So I'm just going to use a sponge. And because we've not powdered the rest of our face yet, the creams blend super easily. If you'd powdered already and you were trying to blend these in, that's when it can get all a little bit messy, a little bit mucky. And you see that just gives a really nice warmth to the skin. It's like a subtle contour. One of my favourite combos for Rimmel for highlighting is using the highlight part of the contour stick. So I just literally use the side of the stick. Like look, oh, so gorgeous. It's quite subtle, but in the right light it looks so beautiful. It's not too much at all. I'm going to just take that on my nose as well. My Cupid's bow. I'm going to leave my forehead just now. And then I'm just going to blend that in with my sponge as well. If you aren't wearing much makeup, you could stop here for your skin. And you've got super sheeny, expensive looking skin. And the creams as well, they wear really nicely throughout the day, but obviously we gone in today. We're gonna go a wee bit more dramatic. I think that looks gorgeous, but we're not finished. I'm gonna take the Rimmel Natural Bronzer in the shade Sun Glow, and I'm gonna just go straight on top of the contour, the cream contour that we've done. And we're just gonna start to warm up this face. And the bronzer goes on top of the creams really, really easily. You guys know that I don't like to powder my whole face anyway. So it's really important for me when I'm using products that they layer nicely and they don't go too crazy when I'm starting to like buff my bronzer into the cream contour and stuff. And then taking a slightly smaller brush, I'm just going to run that bronzer down the sides of my nose, right up to the start of the brow. That just gives that nice kind of scooped contoured effect. And then if you want to make that look more natural, you can just use a sponge to kind of blot that into the skin. Ooh, I like this. To finish this off, I'm going to use the Kate Sculpting palette in number 2 Coral Glow, and we're going to use all of these. So I'm going to use the contour first with a little small contour brush. And I'm just going to slightly intensify the contour. I'm actually really happy with that right there. I'm going to go in with my slightly bigger brush. I'm going to go in with the blush part and just hit slightly above the contour and then go onto the apples of the cheeks a little bit just to warm the face up that little bit more. And then, remember we did the cream highlight? We're going to go on top of the cream highlight with this powder highlight. And that's how you get a blinding highlight. is my favourite little combo with Rimmel products to get that blending highlight. I love it. The powder highlight itself isn't super chunky glitter or anything, so it goes on top of the cream really nicely. You don't get any kind of clogged product or anything. And then it's nice because from the front you can't see it. It doesn't have that cast, but it's good. And we're going to just do it above the brow slightly, because that just gives that luminous look to the skin. And then taking a slightly smaller brush, I'm just hitting the nose. So the end of the nose, the little exclamation mark we do, and then the cupid's bow as well. So that is our skin pretty much done. I'm going to set it just now with, again, the Insta Fix Go Spray. This nozzle gives you a really nice fine mist. It's not one of those sprays that you go, it's nice. And then, now we've done that, I'm going to just powder with the Insta Fix Matte Powder again. I'm just going to go down my smile lines because I know that's where I crease. And then my chin because it gets oily. And that, my friends, is like my perfect skin for day to day, or if you amp up, perfect for evening. Now we're going to move on to eyes. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit closer. Whee! And the eyes for me is probably my favourite part of this makeup. This product here, this is the Rimmel Magnif'eyes Dual End Eyeliner. It's Magnif'eyes Dual End, and you've got two different colours. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in with this colour here. It's the nice warm brown colour. And honestly, I was really excited to film this part of the tutorial because I just could not believe how good it was, to be honest. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're literally just going to go all over. The payoff's gorgeous, obviously, you can see that. And we're going to take this right up past the crease. So now we've done that, I'm going to go straight in and I'm going to do one eye at a time because you need to blend this. And you just go over it with the brush, pick up little bits of product. And then as you're using your brush, the product kind of warms back up and you can blend it out. So I'm just going backwards and forwards with my brush. And it does dry, so you have to work a wee bit quicker. But even though it's metallic, once you start blending it, you get this crazy, like, easy peasy transition. I'm just going to use my beauty blender just to take that back a step. Like, look at that colour. I'm going to do the same thing in the other eye. And then again, I'm just going to go in with my brush and start using my window wiper movements just to start warming it up, and then little circular movements up towards the brow. I absolutely love that. It's a really gorgeous colour as well. It's almost like a kind of purpley brown. When I did this for the photo shoot, everyone couldn't believe that it was just one product because it looks like a bunch of eyeshadows, doesn't it? And honestly, it lasted so well because once it sets, it sets. So if you were to do this and then maybe even put more eyeshadows on top of it, that's not going anywhere. Just like that. Then I'm going to do the same thing underneath my eye. And then I'm just going to use the same brush to blend that out. Like, I just think that's so nice. Once I got to this stage at the part of the photo shoot, I actually said you could totally leave this here, mascara, nude lip, and it's like such a nice daytime look, but I'm gonna make it darker. So I'm gonna take the Rimmel Glam Eyes palette. This is the palette in the shade Golden Eye, and I'm gonna actually take the black from this and a little small brush, and I'm just gonna intensify the outer corner. And because of the pencil that we've just buffed out, it's super sticky. The shadow goes on so well. And then I'm going to just slightly go under my eye on the outer corner. And what that's doing is it's just elongating the eye and making it look a little bit more dramatic. And we're doing it right close to the lash line, but we're also going up in this little V shape. And then again, just going underneath the outer corner of the eye. And then if you need to, you can go back in with your first buffing brush and just blend that black. Then I'm just using the big buffing brush just to bring that black a little bit into the crease. Now I'm just going to take Exaggerate eyeliner in black, and we're going to do a nice little thin line above our lash line just on the outer corner, just to kind of where the black is already. So I'm just going to stamp that on. and that way you get the kind of more elongated eye, but your lashes aren't going to get lost in the liner. And then I'm going to stamp little dots underneath my lower lash line. So when we put bottom mascara on, the bottom lashes look super thick. That's a little tip that I learned off my friend Makeup Shayla. Now, before I do mascara, I'm going to use this little gold shadow in the middle. And I'm just going to put a tiny touch of that in the centre of my lid with my finger. And that just gives the slight illusion of a spotlight eye. It's so pretty. Just gives it a little bit more dimension. I'm going to go in with this side now, the lighter side. And I'm just going to pop my inner corner. So I draw that on first. And the pigment on this thing is so good. Like, look at that for inner corner. And then what you can do if you want it a little bit more intense is get a little bit of highlight that we used earlier and just pop that in the inner corner as well. This little dual pencil is probably one of my favourite Rimmel products, to be honest. While I've got my highlight, I'm just going to highlight my brow bone. Just using that highlight shade from the Kate Sculpting palette. And highlighting obviously helps blend whatever is next to the brow bone, so that just looks much more blended. Now I'm going to use the Wonderfully Real mascara with nylon fibres. This stuff is so good. I love a drugstore mascara. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time to set and really build up my lashes. So once you've done one coat, I'm going to go on to the other side and do one coat and then work my way backwards and forwards until I've got super thick, chunky lashes. And I absolutely love that eye look. I can't believe that I don't have any lashes on and I like it this much. For the lips, you totally have a choice. Either you can just pair this with a nude lip and it's a super wearable day and night look depending on how bold you are. So I'm just going to pop on the Stay Matte Liquid Lip in the shade Mocha. This is a really gorgeous nude. So I think that itself is a total finished look. I think it's gorgeous, but we're going to do double dark today. So we've got dark eyes and we're going to do a dark lip as well. So I'm going to take this off. And this is what was on the campaign image, is I'm going to mix these two colours together. They're both the Stay Matte Liquid Lips, but I'm going to mix together Blue Iris and I'm going to mix together Midnight as well. Totally up to you how you do this. I put one on top of the other before and it was totally fine. But what I'm going to do to make sure I'm super neat is I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it on the back of my hand. So I'm going into the tube and then going on the back of my hand. You do not need to use the back of your hand. You can use a palette or the top of a product or anything. But as an ex-makeup artist, I don't think you ever stopped being a makeup artist. But when I was a makeup artist, I used to always work off the back of my hand. It's just one of those habits that I don't think you ever shake. I've got both those on the back of my hand and I'm going to use a lip brush to apply this. And it makes the most beautiful dark, plummy colour. And then I'm just going to apply these with a brush. Now that is double dark. The last product I'm going to use is the Lip Art Lip Top Coat. And these are in gorgeous shimmers. Look how beautiful that is. I would be so tempted to just put that on my face. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit again on the back of my hand. And I'm going to pick that up with my fingers and I'm just going to pat that on the centre of the lips. And that just gives the lips such a luscious, like, I don't want to say 3D effect, so obviously I'm 3D, I'm a person, but it gives the lips a little bit more dimension, it's not as flat. It is the season for glittery top coats. This at Christmas time will be so gorgeous. So you guys, that is the finished look. Another thing to mention, if you've been wondering what's on my nails, part of the collection is the Super Gel Rimmel Polish in the shade Urban Purple. And then I use the Super Gel top coat on top to make them super shiny. So that is what I've got on my claws. I really hope you like this look. It's super exciting for me. I'm very excited to be part of this campaign. If you do see me out and about in Superdrug, then please do let me know because I am absolutely buzzing to be in the shops. But yeah, apart from that, I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye!